I think there are good grounds for changing the nature of the political system pretty radically. I'm in a system of organization of production, let's say, just keeping to that, which is geared towards profit maximization, not use, is inherently destructive. A system of institutional organization in which the basic functioning institutions are totalitarian, like a business, top-down control, you fit somewhere in it, take orders from above, give them below, at the bottom you rent yourself. That's inherently, I think, humanly and socially destructive. So there's plenty of changes that could be made, and we can think about them. And in fact, you can try to build within the existing society pieces of what might be a more democratic and humane future society. It's even being done. But you can't change the political system radically unless the great mass of the population comes to a recognition that we're in a situation where the changes that have to be made can't be made and will be resisted within the current system. And we're nowhere near that. So I don't think the question arises as a practical question. It does arise as a question to have in mind in choosing tactics and strategies. I think any of us could sit down at a coffee shop and think of much better ways to run the world, better institutions, more democratic ones, more just ones, and so on. But thinking of that doesn't really help. You have to get the great mass of the population to be committed to creating them. And you can only do that incrementally. You have to work within the system that exists. You can do a lot of things within it. You can have a vision of the future which people can take as a guideline for further action, and maybe leading, and as I mentioned before, you can construct institutions of a future society within this one, like cooperatives, for example, like worker-owned enterprises. If they would extend, they would change the society enormously. And those are things that arise constantly if you're willing to grasp the opportunity. So take, say, the 2008 crash. One of the things that happened then, which was pretty interesting, was that the government essentially nationalized the auto industry. Basically just bailed it out. It was going to disappear. So the government, meaning the taxpayer, bought out the auto industry. And then there were a couple of choices that could have been made. One choice is the one that was made without discussion, namely turn it back to the former owners, maybe new faces, but pretty much same banks and so on. So essentially turn it back to the former owners and have it go on doing exactly what it was doing, producing cars. There was another possibility. Turn it over to the workforce, let them run it democratically, and have it produce what the society needs, which is not more cars, but rational mass transportation. That was another possibility. But in order for it to be implemented, you had to have mass popular support for it. There was essentially none, so it didn't happen. And things like that happen even right locally in this neighborhood. So a couple of years ago, there was a small plant in Taunton, Mass, suburb of Boston, which was quite successful, a plant making sophisticated parts for aircraft. It wasn't making enough profit for the multinational who owned it to keep it going, so they decided to put it out of business. The union, Progressive Union, UE, offered to buy the plant and have it run by the workforce, which probably would have been profitable for the multinational, but for class reasons, they don't like that kind of thing. If there had been popular support, they could have won. There wasn't any, so they didn't win. Things like that are happening all the time. These could lead to major changes in the society. Are they incremental? In a sense, but their long-term consequences could be very great. And that's true of all kinds of things.